throttle me down again. You saw how they let me get 1,500 views on the live stream, 1,500 people on the live stream. Then they let me have 1,700 people on the live stream. Then they let me have 3,400 people on the live stream. But now they won't let me have anybody on the live stream. 10. Had 9 last night. It's not that, I was talking good and then I just went off the rails, blah, blah, blah. I am so infuriated right now. If you're an American, you should be infuriated at the State of the Union address while the fake Joe Biden got up there and lied for hours straight. I watch. See, nobody in here. I watch PBD, Patrick Bet David, from Iran. Grew up in Iran, 10 years in Iran. He sees what communism does. He sees what far left does to a society and to a people. Army veteran, had nothing to his name. He gets out of the Army, becomes a multi-millionaire. He's worth $100 million from hard work and perseverance. On this panel, they have Chris Cuomo, the biggest dumbass in New York, and Candace Owens. And listen, I'm not a Candace fan. I know where she came from. Candace was a left-wing hate girl. You know, these girls that pick on everybody. That's what she was. Her job was a hate girl. That's all she did was pick on girls, pick on different people. She had a panel where she picked and ragged out on people. So they're talking about voter ID and corruption in voting. And Chris Cuomo, as stupid as he is, says, we don't need voter ID. You can't prove to me that there's any voter fraud because this person testified there wasn't. And they testified under oath. And if you testify under oath and you lie, then you go to jail. Well, not in America, you don't. If you're a Democrat, you lie under oath, you don't go to jail. If you're a Democrat and you lie to Congress, you don't go to jail. If you're a Democrat in America and you traffic children and they catch you doing it, you don't go to jail. How many people are in here? No one still yet? Here's my question. Why is it that I'm smarter than every person on this panel? They cannot they just will not come up with an argument against Chris Cuomo about why we need voter ID. Well, you got to have an ID to vote. You got to have an ID to drink. You got to have an ID to drive. You got to have an ID to get on a plane. Chris Cuomo is like, well, show me evidence. I mean, it's the whole thing is tell me my eyes are lying to me. My lying eyes. No one on this panel can articulate that the simple fact that Joe Biden got 20 million more votes than Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the savior of everything. I was there. I remember. He was the savior. He was the great black God that was going to save America from racism, save us from evil. Barack Obama was going to do everything to unite America as black and white finally come together. And smart people like Tim Pool, smart people like, I dare to say, Patrick Bet David, who voted for Obama. All of these smart people voted for Obama, and I knew he was a scoundrel. I knew he was a CIA plant. But here they can't make the argument, hey, did you see it? When we went to bed on voting night 2020, Donald Trump was up by way so much. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, it went straight through the roof for Joe Biden. And every ballot out of millions of ballots were for Joe Biden. That's a statistical impossibility when you have 1 million votes and not even 1% go to the opposing party. They can't even make the argument, well, what's wrong with mail-in ballots? What's wrong with that? And Chris Cuomo, of course, well, you can catch them. If they don't have an ID to vote, you can catch them because you got to go in, you give your name. They tell you got to verify your address and all that other stuff. No, you don't. In North Carolina, we have voter ID, but you can still steal it. It's the people who count the votes. And if you look at every voting precinct and because of mail-in ballots, look at post offices. They are filled up with Democrat voting African Americans. Filled up. I haven't seen the movie 2000 Mules, but you should see it. I've seen enough clips to see the truth where it's showing mules in Fulton County and in Atlanta, Georgia, where they're going through, showing up, and they're just stuffing the machines full of mail-in voting. Here's the deal. Why can't anyone on here, out of all these smart people, Candace, PBD, Chris Cuomo, none of them could articulate, listen, when you overwhelm the system with votes, it takes longer to count them. When you have so many more, people get laxed in the counting. So when you would have maybe 500,000 fraudulent votes before, now you add in 30 more people voting that are fraudulent. That's 30 million more fraudulent votes to have to count. And these people aren't counting them. In America, we are not, listen to me, we are not 49-51% split. What's up, Eric? We are not split 49-51 in America. I'm going to tell you the facts. We're about 60-40 because the people on the right and people in the center see the extensive ignorance and the extensive insanity from the left. People with common sense are seeing, we don't want what's coming, we don't want it, but they keep saying, oh, we're that closely divided. They have stolen elections in America since the beginning of time. And they're doing it more now than ever. So when you pile in millions more illegal votes, it takes longer and harder to get rid of them. But nobody here can articulate, Joe Biden he didn't leave the basement. He did not everybody saw he has dementia. They saw it then. Even the ones who were blind was like, well, he's a little slower, but he's a good politician. My eyes can tell me truth more than you taking a study or you documenting it. I know what my eyes see, and I know liars. And Chris Cuomo, Guido here, is a lying sack of trash who will never tell. And they're even asking him on the show, they're like, are you trolling us? Are you trolling? Of course he's trolling. But until you can show me a study that voter fraud is real, they said it really doesn't make an impact. Let me tell you, how many people are in here, Eric? Are you drunk? No. Are you stupid? No. Drunk at 11:39 on a Friday morning. That's smart. People like this idiot here right now. He voted for Joe Biden. Now, he's like, I'm smart. I watch this stuff all the time. I always watch it. I'm really smart. No, he's not smart. He's not smart at all. 6 people ain't worth my time, but the people that are here, it's just, show us. And Chris Cuomo, as smart as he is, he says, we should have a holiday for voting, but it shouldn't be voting on one day. Well, it isn't voting on one day. With all the mail-in ballots, listen, when you throw 10 million mail-in ballots on top of the ones that, the regular votes, you're looking at that corruption. It isn't just the ballots that we're talking about. It's the people counting the ballots. I watched it with my own eyes down in Georgia, where a woman, she pulled there was a tablecloth, only one table in the whole count area, where they pulled the tablecloth up, drug out a big Rubbermaid container, and started shoving them into the machine. I saw it where Republicans said, well, listen, they're going to steal it, where they were there to be observers. You are allowed to observe the election. Where they put up cardboard where you couldn't see. If they're doing the right thing, why are they hiding what they're doing? Does no one remember that? They were hiding what they were doing.
Not because, it's a rebel currency, but also because it's aligned with the blockchain. And the blockchain,
when you give people like Chris Cuomo a microphone, he can make you look stupid. when you're dealing with people that's only as smart. Now I think Patrick Bet-David's a lot smarter than Chris Cuomo. I know that he is. But when you have people on the same intelligence level as Chris Cuomo, he is a gifted orator. He has been in the news media for 20 years. He's been lying this long. And listen, he is just as ignorant as Bill Maher. They will not read something that goes against their sensibilities. They will not, they discount it before any facts can be known. They discount it completely. They don't care. But to think that all these people, everyone on this panel, they're multi-millionaires. Tom, good guy. Every person on that panel are multi-millionaires. That's how smart they are. Yet here I am with more common sense in my toe than most of them have in their entire bodies. Why? For some reason, when you have that money, you're insulated. Money insulates you from the problems going around. So you can see the when it's a huge deal, when it's a big tsunami, it's just like watching the water. These people insulated in their bubble, they're in tidal wave proof buildings. So until they see a huge tidal wave they think's going to take their home over, they notice that tidal wave, just like this voting. They know, there's a tidal wave coming. But see, unlike them, I'm sitting on the beach in a tent. And I'm looking, and I can see the water drawing out. I can see the riptide pulling farther and farther and the beach receding. Now, if I see the beach receding, it doesn't mean there's a hole in the bottom of the ocean and all the water's going away. That means the water is drawing back because there's a massive tsunami headed our way. These people are insulated. They're looking for the big wave to be here. They're not realizing that big wave is coming, but they're not seeing the water going out making that big wave. When you have my perspective, I can see every little thing. Because see, how many people on this program right here, Patrick Bet-David, PBD podcast, go watch it. How many people on there pumped gas yesterday? Huh? How many people have a truck in the driveway broke down? I guarantee they don't. So I know the cost of auto parts. I know the cost of gasoline. I know that. You think they go to Walmart to buy their groceries because it's cheaper? No, they don't. They're at Publix. So groceries are always high at Publix. They're always high at these boutique gourmet restaurants and these boutique gourmet shopping centers. They don't. But when you have that money, you're insulated from how much the money costs. It's just like when PBD was on Bill Maher's channel. Oh my God! I'm about to lose it. But PBD said, "Listen, Bill, you and I are going to do well no matter who the president is because we're millionaires. We've got it made like that. But the smaller people, they're spending a little more money on gas and a little more on this. And I'm thinking, that's all we're spending it on? They're raising our property taxes where we can't afford to pay our taxes on our vehicles and our homes. In North Carolina, we have to pay taxes on everything time and time again. They did a study on how much an American taxpayer earned wage is taxed. It's like 10 times that your dollar is taxed from the time you make it, from the time it's all out of your pocket. 10 times that is taxed. They don't see that. They don't know that. So he's like, well, we're always going to be fine. But he could not articulate why Biden is the worst president ever. Well, Bill, we're doing just fine, but these little people, the little guys who don't have much, well, they're paying a little more at the pump. They don't feel it, so they can't be as objective about it. They can't be as passionate about, hey, this guy right here, he won't be able to buy the extra pack of hot dogs for his family. No, we're living on cheese crackers, and I'm probably going to have to get the crackers without the cheese next time because we can't afford that. That's what they don't understand. But here they are, as smart as they are, and these are the smartest people. It's just, how can you claim intelligence when you did not see what Barack Obama was beforehand? How can Chris Cuomo see that the economy was through the roof? And I'm not defending Trump. How can you see that the economy was through the roof and America was back under Donald Trump, but now, but even then he voted for Biden? A man that's been there for 50 years and has done nothing but what? Make millions of dollars. They showed Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was worth $3 million 3 years ago. She's worth, I think it said, I can't remember the number. I'm just going to say 10 million, but it was like a way higher. I think it's like 10 or 11 million. So she was worth 3 million when she became vice president, if you believe that happened. She's worth that, but in 3 years she amassed $11 million on a salary of $250,000 a year. Just like when everybody said, "Oh, finally," and wasn't everybody, because everybody else is stupid on this too. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House. Kevin's fighting. He can raise more money than anybody. Well, Matt Gaetz put up a fight, got him out. I was like, good. Matt Gaetz has got balls. He's actually going to do something. He looks like a younger penguin, but Matt Gaetz, he's on there. He's like, we're going to get rid of him. So they finally got Kevin McCarthy out. And they wanted, oh my gosh, Jim Jordan. They wanted Jim Jordan. Well, Jim Jordan, they neutered him before. They neutered because they showed him that they would take him down over Jerry Sandusky, because Jim Jordan was a wrestling coach at the Ohio State University when Jerry Sandusky was raping all them little boys and girls. So they silenced him. They shut him up. Well, you don't want to take this job. You know you can't have that. Then they tried to put up Steve Scalise, the guy who got shot, and he's a rhino who loves Kevin McCarthy. So they said, well, listen here. Let's get Mike Johnson. He's a Christian from Louisiana. And I was like, well, Mike Johnson's what I know. He's a good guy, but there was something piercing my soul. And when not one Democrat fought against him being put in that position, they didn't put up a fight at all. I think it's like one day they had a vote and he didn't have enough, and the second day, boom, he was in. This prick, this lying faux Christian, who I think has some pedophilic ways, he has some pedophilic mannerisms. He sat there last night and cheered. I didn't watch the State of the Union. I cannot stand to hear the evil from these people. Just their voices pierces my soul. But I sat there and I watched, and Mike Johnson cheered when Biden was prompting World War III. He cheered when Biden was saying all the billions they were sending. Right now, Mike Johnson is sending $60 billion more to Ukraine. The first act when I get in there as Speaker of the House is I'm going to send $60 billion to Ukraine, and I'm going to send $10 billion to Israel, and then we're going to talk about border security.
We're at around 4%. Okay, is where we are. We were at. Lyndon Johnson comes in. War on poverty begins.
Here's the deal.
All the way up to 41%.
God is destroying America. So when you see the most ignorant people on the planet in our government, and wonder, how did these people vote for these people? This is what happens when you have dumb people voting for dumb people. Then we get dumb people. And people like Chris Cuomo, who is a paid CIA operative.
Gets up there and he challenges what's going on.
Remember, he's the guy who pretended he was in his basement for like 3 months because he had COVID. Remember that? He pretended and he did it. And then he came out and he said, listen, guys, I'm getting out. And he hugged his wife and he hugged his son. Look, I'm out. But there's a news story a week prior where he was trying to fight a guy on a bicycle at his new house a couple blocks away he was building.
Very, very hard to say. And he got a lot of.
But these people, Chris Cuomo,
You were the second one that he had on the podcast, right? And he's in
dumb as a box. He's just a dumb Guido. Dumb Guido. And no one has these people. PBD's a smart man. He's a multi-million. He's worth $100 million.
Why do you think this keeps happening over and over again?
Can't rebut what he has to say. They can't say anything. Well, they testified under oath that they couldn't prove voter fraud.
One of the good things is,
That's because, just like the right has a group of people called the Heritage Foundation. They're supposed to be the conservative leaders of our country. They're the ones that put forth the list for Donald Trump to choose from for our Supreme Court. The same Supreme Court that said, oh, the states have no right to defend the borders. The federal government's in charge. So if the illegals want to come in and the feds want it to happen, it's okay. This is Amy Coney Barrett who made the decision on that. Why? Because she adopted illegal immigrant children. That's why she was picked. Because they knew that she would always be on the side of illegal immigrant children. This is why we research these people so much. This is why we investigate everything they have to say. That's why when they were after, oh gosh, who was he? The guy they put up, they fought against because supposedly he raped some woman in high school, and Kavanaugh. He raped a woman in high school, and they just ripped him through the coals when nothing came up, nothing was wrong, nothing was corrupt. That he didn't do anything wrong. They couldn't prove anything. They still passed it. But the majority of the world thinks, oh, yeah, he's a big rapist. Now, I don't agree with Kavanaugh either. It's just like the other one, Gorsuch. Gorsuch. He gets up there, and he says it. This woman showed it to me on TV. She said, he says that the Supreme Court determines the Constitution. What? No! They're supposed to interpret what it meant when it was written, not interpret what it means now. It's like Clarence Thomas. He said the Constitution isn't a living, breathing document. It is not. It was written then, and it was meant to be that way then, all the way to now. No matter what happens in time, what was written then goes forever. But they wanted to say, oh, well, the Constitution grew up and it got more mature and the Constitution's smarter now. So the Constitution says, well, you can't have that bang bang and you can't have that boomstick and you can't have this, that, and the other because the Constitution didn't have those kind of bang bangs and boomsticks back then.
One, I believe that there's a conspiracy afoot that keeps tuna from biting my bait. Because other people catch, I don't catch.
This idiot's talking about there's a conspiracy because tuna doesn't bite his bait.
If Candace and I don't disagree.
Why? Because these millionaires don't live the life. These millionaires don't have a house next door with 20 to 30 illegal aliens living in it. 20 to 30 people who don't know each other at all. And one guy who runs the White House that drives them back and forth to their jobs. And they all happen to work right up here at the same laundromat. They don't live that. They don't know that. They don't know what it's like for Duke Power to go up, and my power bill went from $100 a month to $370 a month. And that's now a low month.
That he's like, hey, would you call Tucker Carlson and talk to him about how he's processing all this stuff that's going on with him?
See you.